Hello, welcome back to Poverty PVMer, the series where I'm locked to a budget based on total level and combat achievement tier. The goal is to complete the master combat achievements and kill every boss in the game. Last time, we abused death once again in order to struggle through entry mode Theater of Blood, culminating in Verzik's defeat and every possible solo CA. This time, we finish the medium tier, cleaning up some loose ends, and then entering my favorite piece of content for the first time on this series, the Fortis Colosseum. One note before we jump into this. If you've looked at my channel at all, it won't come as a surprise to you that I'm a bit of a Colosseum enthusiast. When it released, I spent a bunch of time working on various challenge runs, including high glory runs, the first ever damageless run, and a Varlamore only setup. I even created a tick perfect method to optimize Soul Heredit that's still used in the meta today. All that is to say that I care about the Colosseum a lot, and I've always wanted a reason to talk about what goes into the strategizing for me. This video is going to have a lot of explanation of my thought process going into these challenge runs, and I personally think it's pretty interesting. If you're new to the content, or even if you've got some KC under your belt, you might learn something useful. That said, I'm aware that in-depth mechanic explanations might not be what people want out of a progression series. I've added chapters to this video, so if you really just want to see the gameplay, it should be easy to do so. With this being the medium tier finale and the Colosseum debut, I've put a lot of effort into making this video the best that it can possibly be. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. With all that out of the way, let's begin.
There's Barrow's Novice, and this should be 25 KC. That is Barrow's Champion complete. 6 points to go. And that is 10 KC at the Deranged Archaeologist. I'm the miserable, so I'm gonna go do the Crazy Archaeologist instead. Oh, I got a hat. And that is 10 Crazy Archaeologist for 2 more points. I'm gonna grab this looting bag, I guess. So at this point, we have 3 more points until the medium tier. And I could do 15 more of each archaeologist and hit the medium tier just with that. But that's kind of lame. I don't really like that as a finale to the easy tier. So I'm going to do something more fun. Welcome to my favorite piece of content, the Fortis Colosseum. Here's the setup. Did a few downgrades to make everything fit in budget, especially since apparently the Dorgeshan crossbow's 4K. And hopefully we can do this. So if we go to Fortis Colosseum, we are trying to complete Furball. Complete Wave 4 without getting hit by the Manticore. That's it. Slight problem is I can't restore prayer in any way, and my gear is garbage. But you know, I think it'll be fun.
Before jumping in, let's talk about the inventory setup a little more in detail. The most important thing to figure out for a Colosseum challenge run, in my personal opinion, is how to deal with the Fremennik warband. Once they're dealt with promptly, the wave calms down pretty significantly. I'll go into details on the Fremennik's specific mechanics a little later, but for now, I just want to talk about our choices for taking them down. So first, we have the magic setup, a basic staff with air and death runes for Wind Blast. Each of the Fremenniks is weak to a specific style, and any attacks using that style are guaranteed to hit for your max. The Fremennik Berserker is weak to magic, and has only 48 HP. At level 59, the max hit of Wind Blast scales up to 16, which is just enough to kill the Fremennik in 3 hits. Next up is the ranged setup, trusty bone crossbow. The Mage Fremennik has 50 HP, so we need a max hit of 13 in order to kill it in 4 hits. Luckily, with no range strength boosting gear at my level, the crossbow can hit 11s without Eagle Eye and 13s with it, so we can either use prayers to 4-shot it or ignore prayers to 5-shot it, depending on what we need. And finally, our melee setup, the tried and true adamant sword. It stacks up fairly similarly to the bone crossbow against the Fremenniks, being able to 5-shot the ranger without prayer or 4-shot with prayer, since its max without prayer is 12, one short of the threshold. For the rest of the setup, I chose to just bring whatever gear I happen to have to get my accuracy as high as possible. Stews are plenty for healing, since if we make too many mistakes, we're just dead anyway. The biggest problem is there's no realistic source of prayer regen that can fit into our budget. If we're gonna pull off this combat achievement, we'll need to preserve our 49 prayer points by any means necessary. Let's see how the setup does when it's put to the test.
Kinda nervous. Let's do this.
The biggest worry I had coming into Wave 1 was the reinforcement spawn. 40 seconds after the wave begins, the Jaguar Warrior is gonna spawn and come ruin my day. So my number 1 priority is staying safe and preserving prayer. My number 2 priority is killing all of these Fremenniks before the Jaguar spawns. So let's see how that goes.
You know, in hindsight, maybe taking the prayer, the invocation that lowers my prayer wasn't smart. One down. A little spicy, but doable. I think Relentless is a pretty good play here, since my defense is fucking awful.
I'm going to let this next wave play in the background while I talk about what just happened there. We discussed earlier that we had an inventory set up to deal with the Fremenniks, so what went wrong? Why weren't we able to kill them before reinforcements spawned? Why was I walking back and forth when I could have been attacking? Well, welcome to step 2 of planning a Colosseum challenge run, creating a Fremennik attack schedule. The Fremenniks work differently to basically every single NPC in the game. When they spawn, like every other Colosseum mob, they can't attack for 3 ticks. After this, they start a 6-tick cycle that runs until they are dead. There is nothing that can stop this. No freezing, no safe spotting, nothing. Every 6 ticks from now until death, the following schedule will occur. First, the melee Fremennik will attempt to attack you. The next tick, the major will attempt to attack, and the tick after that, the ranger will. For the remaining 3 ticks of the cycle, none of them will try to attack you. Then, it repeats from the start. There's a few ways you could imagine dealing with this. One is to just prayer flick the attacks, but that's kinda tricky, considering all the other NPCs in the Colosseum run on a 5-tick cycle, and that just doesn't really line up. Not to mention, my goal is to save prayer points here, so that's a non-starter for me. You could tank them if you were on an account with reasonable gear, at least for a bit, but that's also not really an option for me. Instead, we're gonna abuse a small quirk of how the Fremenniks work. I mentioned that in their cycle they attempt to attack on ticks 1, 2, and 3. This is because they can only attack you if they were next to you and you were standing still on the previous tick. If you're careful to always be moving during ticks 6, 1, and 2, they can't do damage to you. So, the safest possible way to handle Fremenniks is to attack on anything other than one of these 3 ticks. And walk for 5, and then repeat. As long as you're attacking every 6 ticks and moving for the rest, your safety is guaranteed. So that's basically what I did last wave, with a small modification. I sent my first attack 7 ticks after they spawned, i.e. on tick 5 of their cycle. I was then safe to send my next 2 wind blasts on cooldown, since that would naturally have me attacking on ticks 4 and 3, exactly the 3 safe ticks. From here, though, I reverted to the safety strategy of attacking every 6 ticks and walking otherwise. And as you saw, this meant they weren't dead by the time that reinforcements spawned, which is gonna be a problem if it happens consistently. We're gonna need a better answer.
Okay, could have done better. But it could have gone worse. Myopia seems quite strong.
To make what I just explained more concrete, I'm going to put the ticks on screen for the start of this wave and show you exactly what I'm doing tick by tick. And close to the end, there's going to be a mistake I make. Did you see it? On one of the final cycles, I stood still on tick 2, the tick before the ranger attacks. You can see the 0 hit splat appear on my character right afterwards. Now, it turns out that in the context of this run, this actually wasn't really a mistake since I was praying range, and it hints at an actual good solution to the Fremenniks. For now though, let's just see how this run ends. My prayer points are in a pretty dire situation right now. I'm gonna skip to the end of this wave, and the prayer situation isn't much better then.
Okay, this is rough. Has to be Doom, I think. I got hit 15 times, I'm dead. Get a little lucky. Oh, I'm out of air runes. That's not good. I'm dead. Woo! I don't know how I miscalculated that. I thought I came in with... Oh, no, I just can't multiply. That's embarrassing. But it was a shitty spawn anyway. I'm gonna come back later. Okay, I have regrouped, re-geared, got more food because the prices of things on the GE changed, and I did some VOD review, and I realized that this tile is 1 south of what it should be. That'll help. Attempt number 2. And we're gonna take Frailty because I realized that Blasphemy is done.
So I'm sure you can tell by this point, but these Colosseum attempts are quite long, each one taking easily over half an hour. So from this point on, I'm going to show the interesting parts. I will show you the start and the end of every wave, and then anything interesting that happens along the way. especially when it involves coming up with new strategies.
Frailty 2 seems fine by me. Sure, why not? Reset our quick prayers. Now, I don't particularly want to flick these guys. So, what we're going to do... Not 10 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can see me here. I go here. Step out. Perfect. Well, I could have played that a little better, but it's fine. Okay, wave 3. Wave 3, frailty 3. Cool, cool, cool. Got unlucky, don't play bad. Easy peasy. Oh. That was fucking dumb. Well, I'm clearly too tired. We send again tomorrow. You know, in hindsight, maybe I should have made sure I wasn't on a German world. That was dumb. Okay, a new day. I've got my setup. I'm on a real world. Let's do this.
And here's the first example of the improved Fremennik strategy. I hinted earlier that there was a mistake that I made that wasn't actually a mistake. Here I'm using it to full effect. You'll notice that after the meleeer dies, I attack the ranger freely every 4 ticks, which seems to go against the every 6 ticks rule we established earlier. The nice thing I realized is that while the 6-tick walk is fine when I don't need to pray, if I need to pray against a non-Fremennik, I need to get the warbend dealt with ASAP. Luckily, since I always kill the meleeer first, the remaining 2 Fremenniks are on back-to-back ticks. This means that if I can be safe from one, I will always be safe from it, attacking every 4 ticks, since that's an even number. In this example, I don't want to get hit by the ranger, but I don't care if the major hits me. So as long as I attack only on ticks 1, 3, and 5, I'm good. Whenever a javelin's attacking me, I'll do the same, just with attacking on ticks 2, 4, and 6 instead. This'll make my Fremenniks way faster, and use less prayer when things spawn south of me. It's a win-win. This is one of the scariest possible wave spawns, a double south wave. I can't really afford to flick and kill Fremenniks quickly right now, especially with my lack of prayer points. So I'm going to turn the corner and really try to use that attacking every 4 ticks deck. I need these things to die before the reinforcements, and then if I can off-tick the Jaguar and the Javelin, I can take out the rest of the wave basically at my own pace.
Okay, back to wave 4. We can take re-entry, it's a nothing invocation, that's good. So... 24 prayer points, just have to play well. Well, I mean perfectly. Manticore is the #1 problem. We dodge it at all costs. Okay, here we are. So step 1 is going to be to reorder these prayers to make one-tick flicking easier. I don't want to one-tick flick, but I'm going to have to at some point. Step 2 is to turn off level up interfaces. I will not get killed by the strength level. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try not to one-tick flick until like 5 prayer points, just to minimize chance of failure. So, here we go. No! Misclicked. Alright, that's wave 4 done. And I guess we learned some stuff. We ended up taking 4 hits from the Manticore there. So, just have to learn to play better. Okay, we're back. This time we've got a new plan. I've gone out, realized that the tankiness isn't doing anything for me, and reclaimed a whole bunch of prayer bonus. We're also going to try to camp the RD Cloak if we have to be camping protection prayers, and then otherwise swap to the accumulator. And I hope is that since this almost doubles the amount our prayer lasts, it should make the Manticore significantly less terrifying. Since my biggest problem is trying to one-tick flick it, which I'm already not very comfortable with in the first place. So this much of a buffer should make the difference. Let's see.
For the next few waves, nothing too exciting is going to happen, so I'm going to speed through the starts of these waves, and I will see you back at the Manticore.
Okay, I think I want to deal with the Manticore next. So, one interesting thing is if I set my quick prayers to just a protection prayer and click it really quick. Time remaining 3:28, 3.5 minutes. And the average time to kill in a Manticore with my setup right now, no prayers, no thoughts, no nothing, is 7 minutes. So, if I pray for 3 ticks out of every 10, that's actually 1/5 the drain rate. And you might think it's 3/10, but no, because we turn off the third prayer tick perfectly, we only drain 2 ticks every 10. So we should, if we were camping protection prayers, we'd run out halfway through the fight. But we should have 1/5 of that prayer drain. So we should have like infinite prayer. So I'm just going to fight it straight up and not think too hard. And it's going to work. Let's do it. Okay. Alright, it is dead. The only thing we have to do now is not die in the combat achievements hours. Let's do it. No! I'm so dumb! I was gonna... Oh, no. I'm so stupid. I lost focus. I turned on game sounds for the Manticore because I'm used to it. And then I forgot to turn them off for one tick flicking the Jaguar. And I was like, oh, I should step out to turn them back off because the sounds will distract me. And I did it at the wrong time. I'm not going to let it bother me. That is proof that this works, especially the camping prayer strategy. I'll see you back there. Okay, after that embarrassing death, I am back. This time with attack and strength pots, which I should have done a long time ago. These will take minutes off the run. And any time spent attacking the mana core is risky time, so if we can reduce that, that's great. Okay, a little bit of a mishap with the javelin there, but we're alive. Myopia 3 is perfectly fine, I think. Devil? Hot up and let's do this. Guess we're doing this now. A little scary. Okay, we're here again. This is the easy part. Simply don't be dumb. Step back to let this one forward. And now the one that can conceivably one-shot me. Not even conceivably, it already did. My finger's tired. I am going to just normal flick this. Please. Combat task completed, Furball. Can now claim your rewards from Gommel for the medium tier. Blame. Oh, let's go. Gotta take those death runes. I'm over budget, but not really. I will see you at Gommel. Hello, Mr. Gommel. Here to talk about my combat achievements for the second time. I've completed even more tasks. Give me the medium rewards. That's a hilt, a lamp, and most importantly, a budget increase. I now have 50,150 GP worth of budget, which is incredible, honestly. 50 GP for every total level. After 8 days, 12 hours, got 1,003 total. What else are the rewards? You have an easier time obtaining medium clues, which is very funny considering the U shortbow. Increased max quantities offered in Boss Slayer, which might happen. Bonus tokens from Warrior Guild and 2 extra commendation from each pest controlled game. Maybe that's useful. And additionally, the hilt at Barrows will prevent prayer drain, which would have been useful while doing the medium tier, but here we are. And I'm never going to own a cannon. Very funny. Thank you so much. I'm gonna drop this directly onto Herblore for 10,000 XP and level 38. I think that was like a lot of levels actually. Yeah, I think that was 4. Okay, well, awesome. I am super happy I was able to pull off that Manticore combat achievement. We could have finished this tier by killing the Archaeologist 30 more times, but I don't know about you, but that just seems anticlimactic. I'm glad I could prove to myself that we could do this, specifically without any prayer regenning tools. But with 50,000 GP budget, the world's kind of opened up to us. So, I'll see you next time.